Jinx is what I'm looking at potentially to be set up for. And then you have the whole case of scaling versus being able to snowball through volatile trades and dives down bot side. I really hope to see that, some kind of mid-jungle 2v2 into bot side. I did win Archer.
Yeah, exactly. That's a cappuccino for Aragon right there. We'll get a picture out to you all, but that is Jinx B1. Taliyah banned away. The priority on that champion, Starix was calling out when we were prepping for the day in general, say, look, ERL priority on Taliyah is super, super high. Diplex priority on Taliyah in particular, very, very high. That's off the table. The response now from Karmine Corp, they had to expect the Jinx was coming on through. They immediately lock in the Vi. We saw that last game from Lion's Creed. If you're trying to lock down one of those long-range crit AD carries, Vi is one of the very best at doing it. Yeah. Maybe something like a Kalista, or maybe if they want to match the scaling, they could look towards the Zeri. Instead, it is Kalista for Kalist.
Yeah, Kalist. You want to pair off a Vi with diving, right? So there are a few options that you can go for here. Vladdy loves Azir, and I think they just played Azir Vi as a duo. It's not the most synergistic duo, but you also have options like Ahri to go in. That's a very classic duo as well in terms of the mid-jungle, but those are the two picks I'm looking at right now for R3.
Yeah, worth keeping our eyes on that, especially because what the Azir does, even if it's not the best synergy with the Vi, it does tend to get lane shove, which can be pretty difficult to manage. Poppy, though, is an immediate response. Rabble knows his way around this champion, that's for sure. Can still flex it top. There's, I suppose, a world you flex it towards support, even if that's very rare these days. It's really rough for Kalista. It's really rough for Poppy. I really like it.
Yeah, really rough for Vi and Kalista. I completely agree with you. That is really brutal.
Awful.
It's a lane swap.
Brutal.
It's a lane swap. Zac filling in for the shoes of a Sion, where you would typically have it. Now, what do you match on the side? For the side of KCB Blue, they have a lot of options. Top lane still open. There's not that many target bans, so you could probably drop top lane if you want to and secure another pick in the solo lanes. You can also pick support here and then ban out supports. I think the world is your oyster a little bit.
I think you've got some options. I think if you don't lock in the Renata now, it's never happening. Instead, Vladdy locks in the Azir. Anybody who was paying attention to his mid-game farm numbers last game, they were pretty silly. So I think we might well see something like that trying to happen again today. We've got ourselves the solo lane locked in for Vladdy. We've got ourselves the Kalista locked in. I think now, coming into the second phase of bans, you can nearly guarantee things like the Renata have to go away, right?
I think Rakan as well is a very important pick this game. Rakan works really well in the lane swaps when Lulu's out. I think that's been one of the go-tos. Rakan is also pretty decent. I mean, it's very good with Vi and also pretty decent with Kalista as well. You can also look towards the Renata as well if you want to play for those dives. But again, you have a bunch of different options if you're over for support.
That's exactly it, of course. They're going to instead get rid of the Pyke. Fleshy does play a bit of that. He's quite known for that. We've got a few Pyke players in the tournament this time around. Of course, shout out to Lilith as well, who is a big proponent of that. So we'll keep our eyes on whether Pyke turns up at some point, I'm hoping. Still looking towards those support bans. It's the Enchanter options here away from Limit, which has often been SK's go-to when they are looking for those lane swaps with the Jinx.
I think if you're Mainter here, looking for anything that can dive forward, Renekton could be good. He also is a big Aatrox player. Aatrox is a little bit better into Zac. If you're looking for the best isolated counters, Gnar is very, very good. But in terms of context of a lane swap, I think your best bet would probably be something like an Udyr here who could farm under tower. K'Sante also works.
Yeah, we've seen attempts at things like Jax as well, because you just try and stay safe. But that was a bit ugly in the first game for with Anonymo, where, you know, Prime didn't really get into the game. It does seem to be those roaming supports. It said the Ornn is off the table. Another one of those champions that is pretty good at getting a lot out of a little when it comes to resources.
So Blitz ban is kind of interesting. Usually this is a setup ban for a potential Ashe, and then I wonder if we see like a double range bot lane. It doesn't even have to be Ashe. A dive with the Nico support could be good too. But Blitz is usually throw out a hook and maybe punish the double range bot lane. I wonder if that's what Karmine Corp Blue are fishing for. It's going to be the Thresh. That is a Thresh setup ban as well.
But there you go. You've covered a couple options. It still will be the Ashe. Limit does play the Blitzcrank, so instead they're going to go for the double AD carry. They're going to be very, very aggressive with the shove. And yes, you might look for a lane swap here, SK Prime, but doing it versus double AD carry, that's always a bit of a risk in my mind.
But it's really important now that Karmine Corp matches the lane swap really well, because you need a lead. With lanes like Kalista Ashe, they are very, very volatile and they are very, very fragile. If you fall behind, you generally just lose, right? Your win condition is winning through these lanes.
And then the other thing is, like, if you fall behind, you've still got to deal with a Poppy and a Zac, who are two of the best champions at disrupting double AD carries, and a Kalista as well. Aurelion Sol rapidly locked in. Now, what do they want to lock in last? Likely for support. Debating Aurel, that's more engaged, that's more disruption, that's more ways to make Kalista's life very difficult indeed.
Yeah, I think Rakan gets blasted, but it's one of the better ones because you can just function running around the map as level 1. I suppose Rel works as well, but I'd be looking towards something like a Rakan, but still, I'm going to be locked in. Now, what do you pick into the Zac? I do think, like I was saying, Na is the best isolated counter. Darius works too, but you're in context of lane swaps. Udyr is fantastic as well as Aatrox.
Yeah, you've got a few options, but the problem is the threat of that potential lane swap does get quite difficult. There's a world where it doesn't even come on through, but we did say Zac can do that pretty well. Udyr was your suggestion. You said exactly why it will work. It is being hovered here and is locked in. Drafts now in. Two very distinctive and very different looks indeed for our teams here.
That is such a strong early game for KC You have double range down bot side, so you can late invade if you want to. You have level 1 for Udyr, which is infamous for being able to late invade as well. You have so many different options that you can use. So it's on SK Prime. See the wards they drop. I want to see how they mitigate this.
That will be the question, because again, they have the ones with the Zac. They've potentially got an easier time on that lane swap themselves. But as you said, you've still got to deal with the fact that you're lane swapping against a double AD carry lane. They are going to be very happy to shove and attack turret plates themselves. Whoever's stuck under that turret will be very aggressively attacked. You know, Vi's not a bad turret diver either. The moment level 3 comes on through, you can guarantee whoever's under that turret is getting attacked.
I do wonder if we'll see SK Prime's bot lane Neon on this Jinx run immediately topside again. We'll see the whole shenanigans with warding, deep warding to see and try and track the lane swaps. But I'm interested to see, because we saw one lane swap today, and it wasn't managed very well on by the opposition. So seeing just how KC Blue, one of the 4 front runners of this tournament, managed it would be interesting.
That's exactly it. A test here for KC Blue, who dismantled their first game, who are the reigning champions. And yes, so many of those players have disappeared, but a few of those names have now come on through who a lot of people do have their eyes on. The likes of Linces, who has been such a key player for this squad. The likes of Vladdy, who I know from NLC was playing alongside Emperos, of course, who's on Desire, who was winning earlier today as well, back when he was Jaxbank, those Greek Wonder Kid solo laners in the NLC a year or so ago. They will be looking to put their names on this one. They will be looking to push further forwards. And on the other side, SK Prime, from what I was hearing, these guys still believe they can make semis. They can make some really deep runs. They've lost a game already. They lost finals in pretty ignominious fashion. The turnaround has to start here. Against KC Blue, it would be a wonderful way to turn and start their campaign in the EMEA Masters properly.
An extremely stacked game and very, very volatile, as well as, you know, so much onus on KC Blue to be, you know, snowballing the game and not falling behind, because the second they do, you know, if they ever make a mistake, that ace on the Jinx is just going to take over the game.
Eyes on early game for Karmine Corp. Eyes on SK Prime weathering the storm, setting up that lane swap potentially as we go on in. And the game they did win in the finals, well, it was that first game in the lane swap. And prepare yourselves.
There it is.
The Rift is here. Match of the day is here. Karmine Corp Blue versus SK Prime. This is delicious League of Legends when it comes to ERLs.
Jinx, already topside, already potentially committing to that lane swap now. A bunch of pings coming down. I wonder if we'll see a level 1 invade coming from the Ashe and Kalista, because they are so damn strong level 1. They could go together with the Vi and potentially look for wards and kind of scout out the lane swap if they want to. But I wonder if they'll commit to mismatch lanes here. I wouldn't like to see that, because I think the Jinx has a lot of trading tools topside. So I would rather they tried to match the lanes and get a big lead out of this Ashe Kalista.
I think they're potentially looking for an invade and a split map here. That ward will spot them, and they'll know what's going on. An immediate game pause. Well, it won't be a particularly long pause, I'm hoping not, as we do get a quick look here as we get huge amounts of damage here in the early moments. Just look how much damage Aurelion Sol does at 1 minute 16. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
True. I mean, these bars are kind of...
neck and neck. No towers down. I mean, what's going on? Such a slow early game, man.
Yeah, absolutely no gold generated either. But something interesting, by the way, before the camera panned away, there were pings from KC Blue up topside, pinging assistance. So I think they know that there's a swap coming and they're going to send their team over, maybe potentially for wards up topside, in the Pixel Bush specifically. So, when are you coming back?
The Rift once again returns to us. It was only a brief pause, a breath before the plunge, such as it is. Linces and Mainta here, duoing up. It's not a Sion, but the combo is still the same. Top laner trying to help out that top laner as Neon very deep up here looking to shove the wave aggressively, but waiting to see whether the lane has been matched or not.
But yes, so damn good at helping the jungler clear. This is what you see on these lane swaps. The top laner who stays level 1 will just help the jungler clear, whether it's a Sion, whether it's Zac, whether it's an Udyr using the Phoenix stance. Now they're going to split them out. This is super standard. But I want to see KC Blue try to match, fast push the lane, crash 3 waves, and go topside, or just try to play that kind of guessing game where they open through mid and go to whatever lane the Jinx is in. That's how you play against these tempo swaps.
That's the plan. And again, we have started talked about the fact that lane swaps are that kind of macro pop quiz. Can you know the answer at any given moment, especially when the team who is initiating it often asks you to make those correct decisions on very limited information.
But already, tower damage. Now the thing is, they don't have as much damage as a Jinx with her attack speed as well as the demolish from the Rel, right? It might not be as much as a Lulu in the top side for the Rel, but still, it's comparable, right? And despite fortification,
carries, right? Yeah,
it's 1-for-1 plates.
We'll keep our eyes on it, because that will be a question for me as well, because I know you were asking for the match, but I can potentially understand why KC might say, look, we've got double AD carry, we've got Hail of Blades, we've got lethal tempo, can we just say, well, we'll trade plates and just do it better than you because we've got 2 AD carries and you've only got 1?
The problem is this isn't as big of a lead as if they were matching, right? If you're matching, the lane is absolutely doomed for the Jinx and Rel, and right, and you would get a much bigger lead for the Kalista and the Ashe because that would also snowball into dives. So this is a much more muted early game for a lane that wants to snowball.
Yeah, and that I think is a really valid point because yes, they're still getting plates, but they're not keeping the enemy bot lane from getting plates either. They're still getting gold, they're still getting CS in a way that normally in a lane like this, it's a limited prospect. I don't even know there was recalling on a ward, and you could see Vladdy was just looking to see whether an interrupt was available.
Fortification, not quite enough. 2-for-2 plates now. It's actually relatively even trade, so Jinx is extremely happy. She would be down so much CS normally. Ashe support and in general, these Ashe Kalista kind of Ashe Varus lanes, they're so oppressive. Now, my question is, how does main to soak this wave? I think they can just zone him off and he's going to be sad. So I kind of expected him to go with the jungler a little bit more, keep accelerating the clear.
Yeah, and both top laners have just refused to turn into lane. Finally, we see main is like, I'm going to walk up here, Ghost, try and get forwards, gets the wingboard storm, and just has better feet.
Wow, the movement to dodge the Rel W with the Ghost. The problem is, now he has to hold the wave so that he doesn't get dove. Rabble, though,
he's here, he's level 4. This is full build Poppy, namely has got all abilities and a red buff for first blood.
But he dematted the cannon. So you take Dematerializer and you secure 1 CS on that wave.
That is 400 gold for cannon. Sorry, I'm not sure I've ever heard a more top laner statement in my life.
Now, normally what you see is the Zac has Demat as well, and you play this stupid kind of game where you try to get more CS. Now, the Udyr is ahead of the Zac. Now watch this Demat, the tech. There's 1 Demat there on that minion. Now he's going to walk up.
Oh, they're going to zoom in.
They're going to zoom in. Please zoom in and watch the Demat of the cannon.
No.
He secures 1. There it is. Yoink.
Worth?
It is worth.
Fenor is now bot side, still got his passive available. This turret is just about alive, but it is worth noting that I'm just refusing to talk about the Dematerializer anymore. It's just making me angry. Look, I say this as a jungler who did enjoy smiting a cannon minion every now and then, but I'm not particularly good at the game and potentially mess up wave states. That's neither here nor there. Venor going to try and complete the reset, will not have it happen. Linsys interrupts it, and while we saw main to fall down in the top side, he got a cannon minion. Venor here will go down into the passive with the Cell Division, but Neon is here with a Ghost. They can keep fighting. Linsys very deep. Neon lands a slow with the zap. Will force the Vi to flash away, but first turret still goes down, and Calming Core Blue still get a fairly significant lead for the Kalista here, who's just farmed a full turret as before 6 minutes has even hit the clock.
So what the problem there was Venor's base got cancelled. He was supposed to recall and catch topside whilst Poppy did grubs, but he got cancelled so he couldn't do that, and that way they lose a plate topside and lose a bunch of waves. Now Mainta's really happy, but then you also lose bot lane turrets, so both side lanes are absolutely doomed for the side of SK Prime.
And for all that the Jinx has avoided laning into this really oppressive laning duo of the Kalista and the Ashe early on, you've now got to go back for full Berserker's Greaves and a recurve bow. Kalista with early attack speed is so annoying, and you just picked up a boatload of it.
Yeah, absolutely. A full component ahead, right? Boots plus a component. They're very, very accelerated. Now they swap back topside again. They're going to play for plates down top. What they need to do is they need to recall and match the Jinx into the Kalista again, because this Zac is not playing the game if he does that. And the problem is, if the Jinx goes down bot, she is so susceptible to being ganked as well because there's no tower.
Yeah, she can't stay there very easy, especially when you've got a Vi, the ability for the Ashe and Kalista just to run you down. You've got to be very afraid of what could happen there. So instead, Venor is just hanging around. Will likely find Fleshy. I think he just revealed himself, but has an elastic slingshot and a dream and managed to get himself out of there, trebuchet style. The best siege weapon.
Nice reference.
I'm glad somebody went. It's very niche.
Nice
I was going to let it slide, but I appreciate you giving me the props there.
I do appreciate it. But now, look at this top side, right? Poppy has to shadow. Otherwise, this Zac is going to die. He does not have passive to potentially buy some time. He just popped it down bot from the side of Linsys.
Yeah, the problem is you can only divide once as the cell. You've got to start multiplying at some point to get back into this game. Rabble is here, though. We're looking to shield this one, so I don't think the dive is that free anymore. It's a big wave. I just don't know how much of it Venora is actually going to be able to get access to.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do now to convert this, because Poppy is having to shadow, share XP with the Zac. I wonder if they're going to invade down bot side on these camps or convert it into a dragon, because they know Poppy is stuck there.
They're going to get a decent grounded off there onto Kalist, but the problem is the follow-up's just not really available. The Ren comes on through. Yes, Rabble has level 6, but Venora is still here at level 4 and slowly losing more and more mass. He's losing a few inches in height there, getting increasingly small. Bot side, though, the dive with the Mage is pretty good. Gets a shield on out, buys himself some time. We'll also have to burn the Ghost. I'm not sure how much time he's going to be able to stay here either, as topside in the picture-in-picture. Flash away from Rabble, who got chunked out very low indeed by that bot lane. Fleshy, though, very low. Kalist hops on forwards. Well, you wonder why people are hyping this guy. He gets the Kalista and just starts mauling people in this 1v2. Well, 2v1, I suppose, at this point.
And in the meantime, all of this, Poppy is staying top, sharing XP. He tries to go in with a level 6 spike to burst out the Ashe, but unfortunately doesn't manage to pull it off. And Vi is just free farming, so Linces has had a field day with all of his camps. Now he can convert that time into a dragon. I think he could have potentially invaded and taken the dragon earlier, but still really, really winning for KC Blue.
And it's also now 9 plates for Kalist. This guy on the Kalista, despite not getting to play out the 2v2 share like dominance, has managed to claim a lot of gold regardless. We'll get the replay now.
There, so the level 6 from Rabble, he goes in, tries to pin against the wall, but the base damage isn't there. Venor can't help, right? He doesn't have the E, it gets cancelled. Now, let's see what Kalist does, because he managed to gap close all the way to Venor. Venor just tries to recall, and the lethal temper range, I think, catches him off guard.
Yep, the extended range when it's all stacked. He gets to hop on forwards and pulls a few acupuncture needles out, and those pressure points hurt a lot.
Yeah, so we're going to keep seeing what we were seeing, right? Kalista, Ashe going topside, and I wonder if it's going to be a 10-plate game for this bot lane.
It's looking increasingly likely. There's one remaining. I don't think Venor has much to say about this one at all. A recall came on through. It's a pickaxe and a longsword for the side of Kalista at this point. And he claims a plate in mid, but Diplex is otherwise finding this lane fine enough on the Aurelion Sol, and maybe he can be the saving grace as the game goes on, because of course Aurelion Sol and Jinx pretty difficult to beat out in the later stages of a game. They just need to get there first, and I don't think the bot lane of KCB are happy to let that happen.
Securing dragons, KC Blue, whilst they are flexed to swap to topside as well as all the neutral objectives now. I think this arrows, does it slow down the plate taking? Is that the goal? Didn't
quite land. You see the angle, but now Venor just decides to turn up into the mid lane. There's a decent shuffle away to buy Vladdy some space. He does get out alive. The stars did fall, but he won't quite die. Neon claims a turret, and that'll be some plates back for the Jinx, who's at least gotten 5 of her own. But now Kalist on the other side. First turret, second turret, all 10 plates. That is a Kalista dream right there. He even got a kill on top of it all.
7 plates to 10. It is really, really impressive. Now, not all 10 plates went to Kalist. I think one of them went to Mainter's Demolish proc, but still really, really accelerated. Imagine he's going to recall here, complete his first item. And these upcoming dragon fights, it's going to be a really easy win condition for KC Blue.
I suspect, there's the Blade of the Ruin King on back. That is such an early spike. Boots plus first item. This dragon, you just surely don't fight it as SK Prime. I know it's 3 minutes away, but I don't think you're going to be anywhere near matching parity at that point.
I completely agree with you. No parity. You're just going to go topside, keep trying to take these plates topside. I wonder if they'll try to defend it for the side of KC Blue, stop the Jinx from snowballing through that. Looks like they're just going to send their carries mid lane and then potentially move to side, and that way they can collapse if they want to, because they get perma-prio mid regardless with that Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying there. Sundered Sky completed for Linces as well, so that's a big point in power for the Vi. You've got the Nash's Tooth in. There's a Dirk in inventory for Fleshy. And actually, you also called it out, it was a bit risky for the Jinx to be in the bot lane because there wasn't a tier 1 behind it. That's just happened topside as well. So, got to be so nervous about pushing up too aggressively, especially if there is the angle for the Vi to flash throughout that cease and desist to have Kalist or Fleshy roam around as well. Not an easy game right now for Neon, for all that he's being fed a fair amount of gold as well. Just not as much as this Kalista.
2k gold lead. I think this was the same gold lead that G2 opened up against BDS when they did the lane swap, so it's a pretty good place to be in. With this whole item completion, now they're going to hit mid as well. Ping's coming down for blue side. SK Prime, they might be looking for something here, but all sums up for KC Blue.
You need to maybe burn them. In comes the Elastic Slingshot. No ultimate available, but still massive Magnus Storm. The problem Kalista's going to face is how the hell do you move when all the CC comes crashing on down? No Spear of Vengeance available. Snapped in half. Fleshy feels the flesh is weak indeed. Another kill over. Neon picks up that one. And SK Prime finally punish the bot lane.
That is an absolute disaster for the side of KC. They thought they were comfortable to hit the turret. Oh, the flash!
Oh, it's stylish as hell. They'll flash on forwards, though, and they do at least make it another 1-for-1. Vladdy stops the Jinx from getting any more in mid.
But that is a gigantic gold injection. Everything used for the side of KC Blue. Take a look at this engage. Venor finds the play. Udyr still topside. And they think they're safe to make this play because they have Cleanse Flash, right? He thinks he can Cleanse Flash, get away, but the damage is too much, the CC is too much. The Rocket would have killed as well. Now, Udyr just has to try and cross-map up topside, but the cleanup's there. And fortunately for the side of KC, they find the play onto Neon, get a shutdown onto Vladdy.
And you see at this point that Diplex thinks, well, this is half HP. I can go drifting on forwards. The wave comes on forwards. Vladdy says, well, I'm not getting out here. And decides, well, I guess I just all go in.
Watch the flash predict. Oh, it's Faker versus Ruler, I think, in that one world.
Oh, yeah, that incredible series versus JDG that really found an angle. Well, looking to try and prove he could potentially be that Vladdy once again on the Azir, once again making moves. He is a dangerous prospect indeed for all that the hype has often been put towards the likes of Linces and Kalist. I knew this guy when he was kicking off at 16 in the NLC, going an hour or so to go to an internet cafe to find somewhere with stable enough internet connection to maybe play at that tier 1 there. He now over in the LFL. He's now playing with the likes of these and making plays like this on a stage like this. Maybe it shouldn't just be that jungle, just that AD carry you have to be afraid of when Diplex just attacked there a little bit as well as I was waxing lyrical. Instead, we look towards this top lane. Neon trying to claim at least one more plate before they all drop.
More trading. Still not at the comfortable threshold where they think they can fight this composition because of the early game discrepancy in power just from the raw picks. So, going to keep cross-mapping up top side, secure some more plates before 14 minutes comes around, and trade second Drake for it. Now, almost has second item for the Jinx as well, and I imagine that on third Dragon is where we're going to see the fireworks.
Kalist, I think, is about to pick up that plate, and that evens up the gold, because, of course, one of the issues was that Neon picked up a lot of gold when that play in mid lane happened. Neon did manage to clean up that top lane tier 1 as well, so there is that. But all the while, KCB take the Dragon and then move up towards the Rift Herald as well, having claimed mid-turret in between. That's a solid sequence of objectives of their own.
Mini hiccup. You can imagine Neon's going to go open through up through mid here now as well and just sit mid, because the other picks are much better at side laning now. But we're going to go for a bit of a slower one, I think. Just get mid prior, potentially get some defense's vision, and for the side of KC Blue, you want to keep accelerating. You have this Dragon win condition, and you just look for invades in the meantime.
And it is going to be on the cam. I think, is it the cam rift? I didn't actually see which one it was. It was Mountain, of course. I should actually just look in the top corner of my screen. That might have given that away. I just looked at the rift. And probably it was just mid lane. It's like, I don't know which one this one is. But there we go. My mistakes notwithstanding. One thing I did want to potentially bring up here as well is this is still going to be a Kalista, yes, that has done well enough in the early games. Only 400 gold ahead. That's not that far, especially after the mid lane play. And then I'm looking at Rel, Poppy, Zac, even an Aurelion Sol, who have so many ways to make Kalista's ability to actually auto-attack in a fight very limited.
It's definitely...
How much value do you get from a Kalista in a mid-game, whatever the game state is?
It's definitely a case of a range for the side of SK Prime. With that ASOL, I think I heard a pro, I can't remember who it was. Did he steal it?
Neon!
Neon!
That is daylight robbery! Call the police!
It must be on a ward. Or was that blind? Just with the timers? There's no ward there. And here I was talking about ASOL, but that was just the best steal I've ever seen.
I'm actually astounded. That is so annoying.
But yeah, to go off the point of the range, ASOL, there was a pro in the LEC who was just saying this is the best ult of all time, right? The amount of range that you get with this duo with the Jinx and ASOL, it's just such a pain for Kalista to deal with. I completely agree with you. This third Dragon round.
And your inability to, like, your ability to say, you can't hop anymore.
Yep.
Like, you've been CC'd,
even with
you've
the
been bounced on.
slow.
Yeah, Ryla slow, Singularity slow. You know, like, you look at that, then there's Rel with the Magnet Storm does it. Poppy, W. Just so difficult. And yes, the snowball was good. The response from SK Prime was pretty solid. The gold is still there for the Jinx. They're going to try and get more value now into this tier 2, but the teleport comes on through. Now they need to be a little bit aware. There could be a chase on out. The zoom out comes in from our observers, and Limit thinking about a blast cone, takes it. The Sky was the Limit just briefly. Not the best pun I've ever come up with, but it's the one I had available.
Yeah, can't say I'm too impressed. Usually you're better.
You know what? That's fair. I take that criticism in stride, and you know I'll do better next time. Thank you for that constructive feedback.
Teleport coming through, though. That's
Yes.
Diplex's teleport. Now, so side laning is going to be a bit more problematic, because if they go side lane, snap engage from the Vi could be problematic.
Mainter steps on forward, does get a bit of a chunk onto limit, who will crash down away with a bit of Ferromancy. The arrow comes on forward, but the chompers afterwards were pretty good. Now they're going for a bit more moment. The skies can still descend. Watch out for Diplex. In forwards they go! Stun into the backline, but it's immediately pulled back with the Fate's Call. Massive combo damage, though. It's so brutal. The ultimates combining from Neon and Diplex together brings down 2 for SK Prime, but KCB did manage to get a couple at the back end of it as well. It ends up being an even enough trade, both jungle and top falling for both sides.
Linsus with the dive, the star carry for KC Blue, managing to disrupt the uptime of the carries. Take a look at this. There's an engage onto Mainton here, but I called out no teleport for Acel, so he has to wander on over. This gives a bunch of time to KC Blue to hit limit and have him flash away. Now watch the ultimate from Vi here to disrupt the uptime here for the Jinx. He can't hit. Same with the Acel flight. And then the big ultimate. And it just ends up trading 2 for 2 because of the raw scaling of SK Prime.
Yeah, I honestly thought after the combos came on through from the side of Neon and Diplex, it looked like it pretty good. But actually, Callisto had spears to pull out, and suddenly that tank didn't have as much HP as I thought they did, and they fell down. Eyes now turn towards our top right corner of the screen. Again, a minute until Soul. Point Soul itself, of course, but there's 2 items on Callisto, and I think both teams are ready and willing to start throwing down the gauntlet and taking the fight.
Yeah, a little bit scary if you're SK Prime. They have no flash on Neon, so he's very susceptible to just being ulted or shuffled. Now, Brabble's going to have to play W very well here if they're going to go for it, but potentially. Mainter does have TP, so he can push inside and threaten tier 2 if he wants to. They want to make a decision. Are they going to cross-map or contest this? I think they really should with this Callisto comp.
The issue as well, though, is Callisto doesn't have flash either, and that's already scary when the engage range is very high from SK Prime. So both of these AD carries, prime real estate, targets on their backs, and both teams ready and willing to try and find that angle. Still 10 seconds to go. It is SK Prime with the position in River to begin with, but KCB taking the opportunity to aggressively get Prio in mid.
Watch Poppy ult. I wonder if he's going to ult someone away before they commit to shutting down the dragon. It's already being burned down.
Nice
That's so much DPS.
They're just going to do Breath of Light over the wall, keeping Diplex safe. It's gone. Just disappears. Now the angle on the other side, the Magna Storm crash down comes through. Mainter in dangerous position. The Singularity afterwards cannot run away. The arrow goes wide, trying to get some damage. The knock-up with the Keeper's Verdict into the Falling Star. Brings 2 down already. Bloody no backside. Gets onto Neon, who does go down the lights. Out for the count. Diplex trying to run far enough away. Cannot escape the soldiers of Shurima. Now Rabble is being run down. Nothing to be roused here. Nothing left to be found. The arrow is enough afterwards. Zazak's Realm Spike hopping on forwards. Callisto gets another. And despite an early couple kills towards SK Prime, KCB win the fight after.
And Vladdy's teleport. They're not even going to think about Baron, which is spawning in 10 seconds. They just settle for all of these turrets. They could rush it down still. They have Callisto DPS as well as Azir on 2 items. That beautiful fight. You thought SK Prime were winning that, but no flash on the Jinx. Vladdy finds the shuffle, the flash shuffle into the push. And that was it.
It looked so good, and then Vladdy gets Neon, and the rundown afterwards is just fantastic. Baron is spawned, over they come, but SK Prime are going to teleport in. They can still play this. It's still early, and the damage is pretty high from the Baron.
And they haven't spent their gold, right? So they're on a timer here. I can't see Baron HP. I'd love to see
it's gone.
Okay, they can get out here.
Arrow is blocked. Sorry, Rocket is blocked. I apologize. Now they need to think about leaving. Mainter might be traded, but he's got a Ghost and a Ram Jam to his name, so he's fast enough to get out of dodge.
Yeah. You could really tell they were panicking there because they even used Callisto bailout instead of just walking out of the pit right there. But take a look at this fight. Watch Vladdy at the end, I think, is the crucial part. You think they're too late because they greeted for a wave in mid lane. They're kind of a dead wave. Mainter gets singled out and just killed. He can't survive that. Linus' ult is very underwhelming. Callisto's off on the side, so there's no focus. But then Vladdy, the superstar carry.
So good.
Managed to find the shuffle and find the angle. This guy in team fights every single time, whether it's Azir, whether it's Talia, whether it's any champion, he will always find the angle on the carries.
And on the other side, Venor was zoned off by Callisto before everything was happening, and then he misses the slingshot into the backside because Vladdy found the angle, so it meant that Callisto stepped forwards, and then the rundown afterwards, so obnoxious. We were worried a little bit about, well, maybe Callisto isn't far enough ahead. Well, she's doing all right now. So is the Azir.
Yeah, that fight was very much needed. I think SK Prime were in like very good position to potentially take over the game. The range that we were talking about is just so potent, but the fight, the way it played out, I think maybe if Neon managed to disengage after they secured the dragon, they should have been very content with that because they have the scaling factor in the long term, but overreaching a little bit.
Neon was a player who suffered a little bit in the Prime League finals, a player who was given the jinx, was asked to be the star of the team and was consistently caught out kind of this time of the game in those really key team fights. And it wasn't what we expected from a player who was at one point very happily in the LEC, looking to prove he deserves to go right back there. And now against KCB, he's going to be asked to do it again. He's got to be very afraid of people like Kalist coming for his head in this game. Arrow went wide that time around. The shove continues on. They put down the Sundis behind them as well. This will be a full court press from Karmine Corp Blue.
So much wave clear from the Jinx and the Acel. It's going to be pretty hard to siege. They're going to play on more than one lane here. That's why they're main to mid lane. Diplex can keep pressing W and then just putting down the stars.
Worth pointing out as well, Rabble with the ultimate can just knock away a minion wave and a few people trying to take down a tower. So they've got some ways to disengage here as well. I'm not sure how much threat Karmine Corp Blue will have onto these inhibitor turrets, and all the outer turrets now down. This might be as far as this Baron goes.
Yeah, it's pretty typical for a Baron. In the meantime, you get all the jungle camps. You can see pings coming down to try and secure the respawning red. They want to make sure they can get in the jungle instead of vision. But you can see up in top side, Lince's taking away absolutely everything.
Laddie might need to be a little bit scared there. There was just a world there where the slow comes on through, but he's fast enough to back away, and no real teleport wards behind him either. You can in fact see how many red wards there are for Karmine Corp all along that sort of bot side of the map. You reset one more time, look to get back on the map. Got a minute until another dragon fight, and this time it feels like Karmine Corp Blue will have a much better time of it.
Yeah. Resetting, coming onto the dragon, Soul Point is the big fight right now. Everything, all the sums are up for the side of KC Blue that matter. Kalista is ready to fight.
Eyes, however, on Neon's inventory, because you know what item he just picked up?
3 items.
The Infinity Edge. So, has Flash this time alongside the Ghost. The Knight's Vow is in on both Poppy and the Rel. There's a Locket on top of that as well.
Yep.
If there was a time to fight, I think we need to have a quick eye over Diplex as well. Is the Sky's Descend available for the Aurelion Sol? Because if it is, might still be a viable fight for SK Prime despite the last 5 minutes.
I think the front line of SK Prime is lacking a little bit, especially in the bottom of the Zac. At the very least, you know, Kaynit, Raccoon, Warden is much more tanky. So I'm for the side of the Udyr. So I'm a little bit worried about the backline axis and how Neon can navigate that. He does have flash this time around, just like you said. Ghost activated on the Jinx.
Eyes on Diplex there as well. That is the Sky's Descent. It is the upgraded ult. This could be enough DPS to make it happen. Limit finds an engagement. It's onto Lince's, not the best target quite yet. Over they come. The arrow goes wide. Skies come crashing on down into the backline. It's a 3-man knockup. Huge play for Venor, who needs tank stats, but you can just make him join the bouncy castle. Down goes Lince's. Venor low, but still has the cell division. Neon is so very excited and brings Kalista down to the ground. No vengeance to be found. Limit runs away. Can look to crash on out of here. And SK Prime pull the trigger. Gold lead be damned.
Back and forth. SK Prime managed to find the win off of the back of that huge engage from Venor. That 3-man knockup into the ultimate. The carries just could not auto-attack. They were chunked so low before the fight even started, and it's just clean-up creep for the Jinx.
I don't think Kalista wanted to go to that birthday party. That bounty castle was making her feel a little bit ill. What an engage.
But it looks so bad. Limit gets chunked out before the fight even starts, but then this engage that comes through, I think that must have been slowed, by the Acel ultimate, and then a 3-man knockup into the bounce house. It's just too much. Watch how chunked they get. So before the fight even starts, it's over. Lince's tries to peel using the ultimate, but it's not enough, and Neon can just play cleanup.
That is 4 knockups before Kalista could auto-attack once.
Really well played from SK Prime.
You just can't ask for better. Neon's the one that picks up the kills well. He had the 3 items. Stellar stuff. They pick up another Mountain Dragon. That stops Soul again. And the problem from this point for Karmine Corp Blue is you scale okay. You've got yourself in his ear. He's just fine. The issue still remains. That's now a GA on Neon. That is increasingly close to a Zhonya's for the Aurelion Sol as well, who will continue to stack up and up and up. And that breath of light becomes very swiftly a breath of eternal darkness. And something a little bit more poetic than that, perhaps. And it gets increasingly different from KCB. They need to stabilize now, or this gets very ugly indeed.
Absolutely. Like, they need to do something volatile, because these team fights, they're not going to be KC Blue favored. I think any kind of Baron start or something like this to force a fight on these terms is the best way forward, because you're not going to get stronger. SK Prime absolutely do outscale with the range that they do have.
And this is a team that lost the Prime League Finals when they should have been first. That was what was in the cards for them. They should, in some ways, have won that first game here, potentially in EMEA Masters. They lost it. Karmine Corp Blue now, arguably their prime rivals here. No pun towards their name intended, and looking in a very commanding position here on the other side. This is the defending champs. They are supposed to be absolutely unimpeachable, way beyond the mere mortals the rest of the ERLs are bringing. And right now, they are in a bit of a tight spot, backs to the wall. Still scary, not out of this game for sure, but Not as easy as it looked 5 minutes ago, that's for sure.
Back to their wall, absolutely. But they have first move in the river. They have potential start on the Nash. They're waiting. They have so much control of the river. But that ward, I think, spots out. There's a ward next to Baron, potentially spotting out any kind of start. Sure, mid take the wave anyway. But any kind of bait might be seen.
Exactly that. And still, look at Venal, still only at 1.5 items, is yet to get a
look
second
at that
item.
ward by the honey fruit, right?
It's
going to spot out any kind of start. So they see the potential damage there, and they can just go in.
Have an idea. They have to know this could be a potential threat. Vladdy throws down the soldiers. Fleshy there also trying to zone out. This will go down. Remember, there's still the Kalista there. Great at securing that neutral objective. I don't think SK Prime are going to be here in time.
Yeah, I think
that was a
they haven't spotted out Kalista yet. Now they should see, and they're going to run in. Baron's on 4,000.
It's gone. It's out. It's taken. Well, can SK Prime find the fight afterwards? Big rocket comes on through, but the Fate's Call is there. On the other side, Limit trying to find an angle, maybe forced to crash down the other side of it. Vladdy trying to stand and deliver, but we caught a singularity. The black hole, dangerous to manage. Venor will try and elastic slingshot forwards. The rocket landed onto Fleshy. KCB still on retreat, still trying to find a way out. The skies come falling down. They do lose 2 already, though, because the soldiers came on out, but they claim 1 back. The damage is good. Still going to have Neon. Very excited indeed. The slow comes down onto Fleshy. Kalista's dead. In comes the singularity into the event horizon, and Diplex sucks him into the black hole. Mainter is finally here, but it'll be spotted out by a blue trinket and needs to run away with the blazing stampede.
Huge team fight for both teams. They're securing Baron, but probably not too worth it for the side of KC Blue. That Baron only on 2 members, and a bunch of gold injected into the carries once again for Neon and the Aurelion Soul.
And you've got pretty much half the Baron now without your key carries. We'll have a look at this fight afterwards, because it was a pretty scary retreat for KCB.
So for the Baron stop, what was really interesting was Kalista wasn't spotted on that Nash start, despite having that really crucial ward by the honey fruit. He was just a pixel out. Regardless, though, on this rundown, I think they tried to overplay the fact that they managed to find 2 picks on the front line.
And the thing is, Vladdy got 2. You should have been okay with that. Taking 2 more on the way out, you just leave. You look for the reset instead. Neon resets with that passive, gets excited, building towards a 4th item. That's likely a Bloodthirster as well, and suddenly you've got to deal with a GA, a Bloodthirster, full build, the fact that you've got the Knight's Fire, the Zeke's Convergence, the Locket. This Jinx is going to be such a terror.
Yeah. And this Baron, it almost feels kind of fake, because it's on the Udyr, but the Aesol can just sit there pressing that spell on the wave. It has so much wave clear. That's why it feels so fake.
So disgusted in that spell. You just refuse to name it. Like that spell. It's not even Q. It's not even Q. It's not the color casting. You don't know the name.
It's partially the color cast, I think, but also because of how disgusting it is. He just place it down, and it just eats the entire wave, sticking it together.
The simmering rage of a Renekton main.
It makes side laning really impossible, even if you have Baron. But now what that gives is Udyr first move into the Baron.
Death Cap now in for Diplex as well.
Yeah. Diplex has TP as well. He's going to be right back.
Over towards the Dragon we go. This would be Soul Point instead for SK Prime, having been down 2 dragons in the early game, and it gets increasingly difficult to manage. Sky's Descent available once more. They just don't want to fight it. They're backing away. They know it can't happen. Instead, they're going to look for the inhibitor turret. How aggressive can they go? How much can they get from this? They've got a little bit of the Baron remaining. Yeah, they have the inside track. They can take this inhib probably. They really need to disrupt and kind of make things volatile a little bit with those super minions. The problem is, again, what will these super minions do? You have Aurelion Soul. So, a little bit of a consolation prize for Soul Point and triple Mountain Dragon. The side of SK Prime. So difficult indeed now for Karmine Core Blue. They get the inhibitor, yes, but I don't know how much it means. It is a consolation prize. In another game, it might mean something. Right now, I just don't think it does. They've got to deal with Soul in about 5 minutes, just under that. They've got to deal with Baron. That'll become the stiller Sky's Descent. Diplex didn't use it, so whichever fight they take next, it's pretty guaranteed to lose.
Yeah, Baron probably expiring soon as well, so they can't leverage that in both top and bot lane. Ideally, you have top and bot lane pushing now with mid lane prio from the super minions. But it's so damn hard with just the sheer strength of the champions, of the scaling that's come online with SK Prime.
Wait, look, he's finally got it. Venal backs. He gets a second item. Congratulations, 31 minutes in. Only 103 far. Poor Zach.
It's top lane life, man. This is the top lane life these days.
I mean, the fact that he's been as useful as he has been, despite the fact he had no stats at all to his name, is kind of ridiculous.
Gonna be playing mid to bot now, though. The top lane is once again gonna get 0 resources and just be there to act as bodyguard. The problem is you can't really stop the Zac just leaping over onto your carries. Whereas on the other side, you have the Poppy to stop the Vi engage. So, we're gonna play side lane. I think any kind of 5v5 team fight's out.
Yeah, I think KCB probably have to play a little bit more smoke and mirrors. They've got probably easier time getting shoved safely with an Udyr and an Azir versus their opposite numbers, I think, probably.
Yeah.
And not that exactly Aurelion Sol and Zach are bad at getting out of danger per se at this point in the game, but I think the point still stands.
The problem is, right, any kind of desperation play where you get some crazy engage from the Azir shuffle, Jinx can just flash away. Neon is definitely good enough to flash away from an Azir engage, so there's not that angle either, which is usually a desperation one.
And there's a GA and a Ghost.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you just keep going through this list of items there available. The one thing you're missing is kind of a redemption, maybe. That's about it. That's all you've got to be afraid of. He's got both summoners on top of that all, and the fact he's going to be getting increasingly high level as well is difficult indeed to manage. The mid lane we go.
So they do have push inside, so maybe they can collapse to mid and find some kind of Ash Arrow. I'm really grasping at straws here because I think SK Prime is such a commanding position. They played extremely well.
And this game has been such a roller coaster in so many ways. The early game lane swap shenanigans was like, well, actually, Kalist and Fleshy didn't get to match the lanes, but still got so much value. And then they get picked off in mid lane. It looked good for SK Prime. And then that dragon fight happened around the first Drake that SK Prime took in. The Baron goes down for Karmine Core Blue. They start shoving up. And now here we find ourselves all those minutes later, and Aurelion Sol and Jinx are just looking so utterly terrifying.
The third Baron. It's going to be the third Baron this game, and they have mid-prior once again, but I feel like SK Prime, they can walk up and start contesting this if they want to. Well, now, they are on a base race kind of time, because if Laddie does decide to commit, look at the pings coming down on the bot lane inhib. They potentially could be committing some kind of base race with that Baron up.
The 5v5 is pretty unwinnable right now for Karmine Core Blue, but they can still try and play this map a little wider, tease and pull.
Zach is squishy. I don't think he can hold this, so they're going to commit to this bot lane siege. Yeah, he's down 5 levels. I think he can just get shredded under tower.
Yeah, he can. That's down half of his HP. Linces is here as well. They don't want this. Over comes Diplex, though. They're going to try and trade this one back, and Vladdy has to back away. You do not win that matchup.
But now, look. They have first move onto the Nash if they want to start it up. They've had to send people down bot side. Diplex doesn't have TP and Vladdy does. Vladdy could TP to the Nash if he wants to.
The issue, I think, stands there that Linces came down for this as well. So I don't know whether they know the Vi is here. I don't know whether he was spotted on the way down, but you don't have the smite. Yes, you've got the Ren, but you're still going to deal with the fact it's a double front line with a fed Jinx. That's still pretty ugly to manage.
I just think at this point, in the game with the business scan, you kind of take some risks, right? Sometimes a 50-50 is the best you're going to get, but still, Soul now.
I don't think Karmine Core are going to enjoy the message that Neon is delivering. That is Lord Dominic's regards in. Sold that BF sword, decided against something like the Bloodthirster. Wants more DPS against some of those frontline options, and I don't care how much HP you've got at this point, Jinx will remove it very fast indeed.
Assist pings coming down on both side waves. Look at how pushed in they are for the side of SK Prime. I think there might be some angles to teleport here for both side laners.
Soul in 20 seconds. Baron live. SK Prime can make Karmine Core damned if they do and damned if they don't, because whatever objective they take, SK Prime are fine taking the other.
Yeah, Vladdy's going top. They don't want to commit to kind of 5v5. They're going to concede mid-prio and potentially look for a push in top side. If they can hold the 5-man stack here and deny any kind of wave clear, but it's gonna force Asol to come defend down top side. Now they can start Nash with this.
They can. Eyes on Neon, who has gone towards the Dragon. Will be soloing that one up. Diplex is over here, takes away the wave, calls the skies down, gets the shuffle, but it's a wonderful Zhonya's. Vladdy taking tower shots, needs to be afraid.
He has Zhonya's too.
He does have Zhonya as well. Of course, he's getting slowed down by the right. Rabble now coming on over. Baron is being taken, but that will still be a third Baron for Karmine Core Blue, that they may still end up losing their mid laner and Soul while all this is happening. Still trying to run away, but I don't care what your name is, you're being impaled yourself. Down for the count. Venor gets the shutdown, and they lose a key member and Soul. Yeah, they got Baron, but I just don't know. Third Baron or not.
It's a trade. They tried to make a play happen because they know they don't win this 5v5. Laddie goes for the top lane turret, is defended by Diplex, but they concede the solo dragon from the Jinx for a Baron. And now the question is, what can you use Baron versus a Mountain Soul? They have to play the sides really well here because Mountain Soul with this front line.
And it's late enough game as well that Vladdy's off the table for a very long time. It's not like Baron stays on you for longer than before. Linces has got himself a potential flank angle. Tower coming on through. There's a teleport available. They could make this one very ugly indeed, but
I think he just dies if he goes on him.
Yeah, can't make it happen. I understand what they're looking for, but it is low percentage plays. It's high risk plays remaining to them. They cannot win in the 5v5. They're struggling in some of the 1v1s wherever the Aurelion Sol is now, and this game remains SK Prime's to lose, even if Karmine Core Blue are trying to play guerrilla warfare where and when they can.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of sides versus mid push this game. I think that's the entire tale of the game. They just can't handle KC pushing in these sides over and over again with the Azir Prio, as well as the Udyr on side too. But you can see that their attempt here is to deal with it, is to try and collapse on the Udyr, but at worst he could just ghost away.
This is the difficulty, because Karmine just don't want to commit to any fight. Yeah. They want to take things for free and try and play this as macro-based and non-confrontation as possible, but Mains has stepped forwards. I don't know about this one, mate.
Yeah, they're on a timer here. They're going to get pushed in top and mid, so they have to make this play work and kill Udyr, but they decided it's going to take too long. Yeah. So we have to recall and defend.
They do exactly that. Aurelion Sol clearing the wave in mid lane. All the while, though, I think in some ways SK Prime are kind of fine, to let this game go on, because this Baron has amounted to plus 900 gold. That means very little at this point in the game, especially considering, look what you're into. Vladdy's in danger! Good shuffle forward and lets him avoid some of the damage, but he's down to a third already. Gets a stun, yes, onto one side. The DPS is solid. Limit burns out. It becomes a 1-for-1. In the mid lane, we look. Inhibitor falls. Tower falls as well. And Karmine Blue take the opportunity to at least get structural damage down. Neon looking to try and get something back, but the commit onto Vladdy costs them. He buys his life dearly.
And not even a flash expended by Vladdy. He survived. He managed to make that play, draws a bunch of different pressure, and this is exactly what we were talking about. The side lane pressure from Karmine Blue is just way too much. They use the time every single time to find these players onto the inhibitors. And I just hope it's enough, because the wave clear on the side of SK Prime.
It's dicey indeed. Now Vladdy, you can see he shuffles so smoothly and then just stands and delivers. I'm not sure what the stun was from. I think that must have been an Ash Arrow. Does so much work there to keep Limit in place, and the Liandry's burn afterwards.
Yeah, the syncing of the waves has been really, really nice.
Arrow onto Neon.
I don't think there's going to be any follow-up. Everyone's a bit too far away. Udyr, I love how to fill in the time, because there's no easy play, right? They're just having Udyr farm jungle camps in their own jungle to catch back up.
I mean, it's also got late enough now that Fleshy's got the upgraded warding item that lets you have all the control wards. I forgot the name of it.
Oh God, I never see this item.
I know. I said, like, someone out there is a Riot dev
Watchful
going, like,
Wardstone? No.
Yes, that's the name now. We've renamed it. Whatever it is, that's what it's called.
You know,
Riot,
I don't think
call
it
us. Don't throw us under the buff. Just like rename it now. Hotfix it.
It's just the kind of item you never see completed. Games don't go this long anymore.
Yeah, it's so rare. But Ash it effectively full build as a support. Literally has Zazax, the Watchful Wardstone. Yep, that's the name of it. Umbral has got the Edge of Night, the Chempunk. Like, you literally cannot buy more items as a support, which is so rare.
Yeah, but importantly now, 2 minutes to this dragon. Elder Dragon can turn around the 5v5 team fight. Other side of K-Corp, right? And you have the side laning in from Azir, so what could happen now is something we see a lot, especially in ARLs, is the Elder for Nexus trade. I wonder if we're going to see an overcommit from SK Prime onto this Elder for the Nexus side lane of Vladdy.
Vladdy is shoving already 2 inhibitors down. This could get so dicey. They cannot win a fight, but they can still win the game. Karmine so unwilling to give up for all that their early game composition hasn't managed to snowball the game to victory. They are a tenacious team, to say the least. And Vladdy, 2 games in a row on this Azir, is proving a worthy member of this most famous of ERL organizations.
Yeah, I absolutely do think that KC Blue here, though, they have to use the tempo they have from the inhibitors, super minions, consistently to force this Elder Dragon. It's their only win condition at this point in the game.
There's a world here where Diplex might have been looking for an Astral Flight. They can't quite find Vladdy recalling. Was looking, and I think Vladdy was well aware of that threat coming on in. Elder Dragon, 40 seconds. Last set of resets coming on through. Importantly, looking at the minimap, you can see it's Karmine Blue with all the wards ever currently around that pit. A lot of those are from zombie wards, but they matter just the same as a normal one right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So much vision control. But the waves, they don't favor KC Blue. They're pushed in topside, so there's no side lane win condition. What could happen here is they're forced into a 5v5 situation, and I don't think they win that. They need to play with these side lanes. They need to play with top push and threaten the Nexus end if they want to secure this Elder Dragon.
Full build, Aurelion Sol, Jinx, Kalista, Azir. One last fight for Karmine to somehow pull a miracle out of a hat. They're into an unreasonably, unfairly heavily scaled team with a Mountain Soul on top of it. They start up the Elder Dragon. It's a last gasp. It's a last dance. Karmine Corp, what do you have in the tank?
Watch Vladdy mid. This 1v1 could decide everything. If Asol dies...
Could flash away. Picture in picture, you're absolutely right. Neither of those mid laners here. The skies can come crashing on down for Karmine Corp Blue. What a way to go down in their second game. 41 minutes, nearly 42 on the clock. Now it started up. The Elder Dragon by SK Prime. They are the ones there with the stall of popular event. They get Mainta. He's knocked into the wall. Looking to go down this way and get Jinx excited. Needs to be afraid he's down. Jinx begin running away. They can keep going on forwards. Fleshy and Kalista trying to buy some space. Pull back his Linces towards the Elder we go. There is no Blast Cone, but there is a Vault Breaker. He can try and get in limit. Trying to body block the Vi away.
It's just so close, isn't it? But now Elder and Baron for the side of SK Prime.
Oh, the elastic slingshot's just so long range. They will Fate's Call, but at limit, flashing on forward for the shattering strike. Kalista cleanse flash away. And Kalista remains alive just about, but the summoners are down, the ultimates are down. And Karmine Corp, you just cannot fight this anymore.
No flash for the
Teleport.
leap now.
They're going on to Vladdy. They want him down. They won't let him shove up. In comes the Sky. Come crashing on down. So much DPS. The rocket afterwards. Neon unstoppable.
The Elder Dragon burn and the execute. KC Blue, they have nothing to do now. They're going to look for the mid in here, but that's everything for the side of SK Prime as an arrow.
They stun up the Dragon. Actually, I think they got the kill onto Diplex with that somehow, some way. Just the DPS at this point of the game. Sazek's Realm Spike does what it can, and that might even up just a little bit. The problem is, yes, you've lost your mid laner, but it's still 4 members with Elder Dragon and Baron. I don't think it's enough.
Are we going to see a repeat? Are they going to stall out the Elder Dragon with the side laning that they've had all game long? Vladdy doesn't manage to find the kill here. The Zhonya's from Diplex is super clean. If he manages to sidestep this, then maybe there's a world he turns around and gets a kill on Diplex, and that can give them what they need.
Fleshy doing his very best to live up to Prey's legacy. It's a wonderful cross-map snipe.
But no play to be found. And now Elder... They could just run it down mid here. This is exactly what they wanted to. There's no base race angle because they would be against Baron. So the 5-man stack can just pull the trigger. You see Ash Arrow's coming out just to stall time.
It's every angle has to be one you're taking at this point. You are unable to take the luxury of a high percentage play. Whatever play remaining is a gamble. It's a risk. It is so unlikely to succeed, but it's what you have to work with.
I think they need to channel Poppy or something to find uptime on this tower. They can also drop an Asol. They need to do something. The threat, though, is going to be enough, so...
Diplex now up towards the middle of the map. Already, though, it's just disappearing. They don't want to touch this fight right now. Still got Elder Dragon to their name. Still got Baron to their name. KCB, what do you have? You've got one final effort, one final fight in you. The Poppy ult being channeled. Keeper's Verdict comes on through, goes wide. Judgment abstained for now. Mainta taken low, not down. Nexus turret though, falls. Come on, Karmine Corp, you've got to find something. One last pull of the trigger, SK Prime will just use their scaling, the weight of buffs and damage. And DPS galore wins the day. The Elder Dragon screams victory for SK Prime, bringing down the reigning champions, Karmine Corp. Well, it's just red on the rift. They are wiped out in a late game spectacular.
Quadra kill coming out from